Yeah. Okay. And I've already dropped a text in terms of what should be like. You all are mature enough. You know what's a business attire is, right? So be properly dressed in an interview. That's the last thing you would want to get a comment on from the interviewer. Yeah. Cool. So rules of today's rapid fire would be we'll be asking you questions. You can, if you want, you can make notes. If even otherwise, it's okay. One student at a time would just raise hand to not even raise hands. We'll start asking you guys questions directly. The concerned person has to answer it. If he or she is not right, then someone else can just raise their hand and can try to correct that. Okay? That's how this event would last. Prashant, in the last event, students have also commented questions in the group, right? So maybe someone can just put question for your reference so that you can go back and revise these questions if at all needed. Okay, so let's start.
Someone can like consolidate all the questions and they can post at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if these guys have not decided to give those questions to outside of this group, then they can also do that. If everyone
Totally.
says that no, we don't want to give these questions to outside this group, it's perfectly fine because they are attending, others are not available on even on the holidays. So it's that this decision should be coming from this group only. If they
Perfect.
want to give, they can give, otherwise no. So you
Okay.
guys want to put the questions like last time, or you don't guys don't want to put?
The session is getting recorded, right? So I mean,
No, session is recording will not be available.
Recordings won't be shared for sure. Okay. Fair. It's for our reference, for the mentor's reference. Chalo, let's start. So let me ask Subhash, what is the better way to measure salary of an employee? Is it what is the better statistical way to measure the salary of an employee? And why?
No, sir, I'm not able to think of an answer.
Subhash, very bad preparation. This is something you've done in the past. Let me ask Abhay.
So one method could be incentive based. Uh, I haven't attended this, but what I have worked in the past is like few of the companies do give incentives based on the performance. Like let's say, for example, if someone is involved in a sales business, then the number of vials or number of bottles he is able to sell, according to that, he will be provided with the incentive.
Let me rephrase my question. If you're asked what's the average salary of TCS given to Java developers, how would you measure the average salary of a company? And the statistical means could be mean, mode, or medium. Which of these three should be used to come up with an average figure?
I guess median would be the best one. The
Why?
reason is average, if you consider, so average could be inflated or it could be deflated depending upon what's the maximum or the minimum. If maximum is very high, then average tend to shift
Perfect.
towards a higher side. Whereas if suppose all of them are somewhat lying in a closed range, so it may happen that the average may get down depending upon the lowest performance one.
Okay, cool. Who all here are from operations background? Just raise your hand. Shrikant, what's the accuracy level of Six Sigma?
Sir, 3.4 defects per million opportunities.
Okay. Fair. Uh, Sanket, what's the difference between accuracy and precision?
sir, if I would like to take the example of I mean, if a person is throwing darts on a board, if he's hitting a particular point, I mean, that could be his precision. I mean, whatever he is hitting inside the dart board, but the accuracy could be, I mean, if he's hitting inside the board or outside of the board, I mean, how much accurate he is.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add on to this answer? Yeah, Mohit. Sorry. Yogesh?
Uh, I agree to his answer. Like the accuracy is basically how accurate, like how concise his throws are, and like precision is based on the target, like how close to the target he's hitting.
Okay, this is correct.
One more question.
It's not about how close the target are. It's about how many times you have hit the same place and how maximum time it's in some particular area and not the target area exactly every time. If it's in target area and at the same time again and again, that is the accuracy.
Yeah. So
Sir,
the
I just had one
example
question
given
on
by
this.
Sangeet made sense, right? That if it is a dartboard, whether it's inside the dartboard or outside the dartboard, how close is it inside the dartboard? That doesn't really matter. As a follow-up question, let me ask Udit, what's the difference between precision and recall? Give me an example.
Sir, basically, precision is the repeated measurement under the similar conditions, and recall refers to uh,
Not prepared.
not able to get.
Need to be better prepared. Anyone who's working with numbers, statistics, that's like a very common question, precision versus recall. Anyone who wants to take it? Maybe Niti? This is covered in the statistics video.
No, sir, I don't know.
Aditya?
So, sir, how I see it is that precision is like in a small range, like how precise it is. If it is precise up to 0.1 unit, so it will again and again come in that range. So that is a kind of a measure of a quality. And recall would be that how many times it is achieving that precision, or that's more based on quantity.
Give an example. See, theoretically, these definitions would be very confusing for the interviewer. So always give an example to prove a point that, okay, in this case, this is what the precision would be. In this case, this is what the recall would be. Any example, Aditya?
So example would be that suppose uh, a testing agency that which tests some product. So every time it tests a product which is in 0.1%, suppose there's 0.1% purity in some drug. So that would be precision. And the number of times they have tested and received the same result, that would be recall.
Not very convincing. Anyone else wants to attempt? Yeah. Hint is it has got something to do with your false positives, false negatives, true positives, and true negatives. Anyways,
So just one more add-on question. I mean, I had seen this somewhere in B-school interview only. I mean, we all have examples of the median and the mean part, right? So where can we find what applications can be there where the mode is much more useful as compared to median or the mean? I mean, one is I had seen the archery contest, so there I mean the mode can be much more useful as compared to mean. I mean, but what other applications can be there? I mean, I don't have anything coming to my mind, so I'm just asking.
okay. See, mode would make sense when the frequency matters the most. So it could be, for example, like wherever there is
Can
a sort of
surveys be
input.
surveys be a example of that? Like surveys over Instagram or some marketing survey where they count the number of people.
Correct. Yeah, either that or it could be wherever we have a leaderboard sort of thing, for example, any games or maybe any tournament where the frequency matters more than the number of attempts taken. Because so essentially, whenever there is no constraint on the number of attempts to be taken, then median or average won't make sense because there is no constraint on the attempt. And the only thing that would matter is the total accuracy, and that's when mode would come into the picture.
Got it. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Precision recall, I just noted down. In the interest of time, we won't be discussing the answers, but at least I'm sure this is a very common question, very commonly asked. So just read about this. Then, okay. Who all are the electrical or electronics engineers here? Niti, what's the voltage received in India?
240.
Hmm?
No, sorry. 12.
Sorry, 12 volts.
Yeah.
Niti, what are you doing? This is extremely bad. Matlab 12 volt. Are you sure?
No, I'm not. This is
Answering this in an interview is a direct rejection. Please go back, revise your graduation subjects. Extremely bad. Worst answer I've ever heard. Let me ask someone else. Ashutosh?
Yeah, so it depends on which phase we are talking. If we are talking three phase, it's 440 volt, and the single phase is around 210 or 230. It depends. 220 volts is the basic. What you say is the not the ballpark, the main thing. Like I'm not able to.
Garima?
It's 220 volts only.
220 to 240 is the range of receiving voltage. Like this is something that is not only specific to the electrical engineers, but this is relevant to you, right? We consume electricity every day. But like this is the first thing that any electrical engineer should be knowing. And if this is not clear, that shows the state of your graduation preparation very clearly. Niti, what is the frequency received in India?
I don't know.
Tarun?
50 hertz
Very
per
good.
second.
Very good.
Shubham, wait. So, Tarun, what do you mean by frequency? Can you define?
So the number of cycles per second. The
Cycles of what?
wave.
In context of electricity, cycles of what?
The alternating current.
No. So how will you count this?
So 50 cycles in a wave per second.
Okay.
Yeah.
How the frequency of electricity will be different from frequency of sound?
Sir, it will be a sinusoidal wave, the AC.
Okay.
And
Sound is also sinusoidal.
Okay.
It is also a sine curve.
How do you define the frequency of sound?
In decibels, I guess.
No.
The frequency.
Will be hertz only, right?
Hertz only, yeah. Not sure, sir. No.
Okay. Please do read about all this basics. What is
Yes, sir.
frequency and how frequency will be defined in other aspect like electricity, sound, wherever you use frequency, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The basics of like physics, it can be asked not only to electrical engineers. Anyone should know this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Athar, Indian frequency is 50 hertz. What is it in US? And why is there a difference?
100 hertz, I guess.
No.
There is some
60 hertz.
It's 60 hertz.
Correct. It's 60 in US, it's 50 in India. Why is there a difference?
So 50 hertz we have taken for the sake of ease of calculation. It's the like an approximated frequency. There the systems are a bit different. The load is different. I mean, like every country has its own requirement load, the power load, the generation load. So it depends on the kind of load.
It's dependent on what factors, what external factors determine the load.
So that I'm not aware of.
Sir, consumer, it depends
No,
on
not temperature, but generation depends on the kind of the capacity or the number of people, the demography of that country. Like as simple as that if a country has less population, so the load generation will be less because the requirement of the electricity will be less in comparison to a nation or a country where population is more.
No, not very convincing. Yeah, and Garima, do you want to add something?
Not to this question, Shubham. I've not yet covered all the grad topics.
Is it related to the transmission of current over the power lines? Like I've read it. I'm not from electrical background, but
No.
no? Okay.
No, not really. So something again for at least the electrical engineers to go back and check.
Sure, noted, sir.
Yeah.
I think it's purely because of the equipments which they make. That they make 60 hertz equipments, and in India we have 50 hertz equipments. That's why the frequency differs.
So I want to add something, though not from electrical background. Like, does it depend on infrastructure as well, the number of companies and all?
But that is already covered in the load and the capacity. I mean, I had taken a general term, consumption or transmission or the company's kind. I mean, the kind of companies present in the country. All that is covered under that one umbrella.
Hint is there's a historical reason to this.
So there is recently I googled it. So because like US used 60 hertz, so to create a monopoly, Britain used 50 hertz, and when they converged, they constructed 50 hertz. I don't think there is a technical reason behind. And the population doesn't determine the load actually. Like if you have New York, you have many equipments which use heavy loads and all. You can't directly say that population is directly proportional to the consumption of electricity.
Okay.
Cool. Ashutosh, sorry, Shrangarika. Yeah. Next question is for you. Why is voltage always a factor of 1.1?
Sir, I'm really not sure about it. I have not revised it.
So it is multiplied by a form factor of 1.1. That's why it is in the multiples of 11.
Correct. How do you, and what's your form factor?
I haven't checked this. Okay.
Using a term in an interview, use it very cautiously. You need to know what that is. Again, I'm not going
please,
to.
I can answer this question. It's from the question bank, so I prepared this answer.
Sure. Yeah.
So actually, there's nothing. What happens that like when the voltage like at the sending side, the normal 10 kV voltage is sent, right? So what happens that while the transmission at the receiving end, there's generally observed that at least 10% extra of the input voltage is received.
Correct.
So that is why we always see that the voltage that is received is in the multiples of 11 kV, 22 kV, or so on. So that is the reason. And even I would, avoid technical terms like form factor also. Even today, Prashant sir also said when he was discussing the bonds, no need to say about the sovereign bonds or anything. Be as simple as that.
Cool. Okay. Abhinav, what's the difference between reactive and active power? Abhinay? No? Divya?
Yeah, sorry. I'm not sure.
Okay. Abhinay, you are from electrical or computer science?
Electrical, sir.
You don't know reactive and active power?
Not at the moment. I haven't really gotten into studying my degrees.
Okay.
Enough of electrical. So let's start something related to 26 Jan, right?
Sure.
Hello.
Yeah, Prashant. Go on.
So what is Padma Awards and when it is awarded, and tell the 3 business personalities who are going to receive Padma Awards this year. Anyone can take this if you guys are actually following the newspaper.
So I can.
Yeah.
So like on the 26th of January, today the Padma Awards will be conferred upon, like there are many personalities. Some of the eminent one that I know as like Padma Bhushan will be given to Sudha Murthy, who is the wife of Narayana Murthy, the like of Infosys. And then apart from that, Padma Bhushan will also be given to Mulayam Singh Yadav. That will be a posthumous award. And then
Padma Vibhushan he's getting.
Sorry?
He's getting Padma Bhushan or Padma Vibhushan. So there are 2 awards.
I think he's getting Padma Bhushan.
No. Mulayam Singh Yadav is getting Padma Vibhushan.
Okay, Vibhushan. Yeah. Then
Okay.
also the chief of Anil Agarwal, who is the chief of the, I'm just forgetting the name. He's also getting Padma Bhushan. I just have to just skip the name of the company that he's the owner of. Sorry for that.
So you miss the most popular ones, right? 3 names are coming continuously across all media.
So
Like
Anil
Sudha
Agarwal,
Murthy is for
Sudha
sure.
Murthy.
Yeah, other 2 names are like.
Sir, is it Sudha Murthy, Kumar Birla, and Rakesh
Yes.
Jhunjhunwala?
Sorry, KM Birla.
These
Then
3
why?
names.
Zakir
Hussain also.
Zakir Hussain,
Please
all
please
he's a
understand the
company.
difference between Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. So there will be hierarchy. So Padma Bhushan will be lower awards, Padma Vibhushan will be one level up. So Ustad Zakir is getting Padma Vibhushan, not the Padma Bhushan, and all these 3 are getting Padma Bhushan. So please, whenever you are reading, make sure that you know the difference, or maybe if you have interview tomorrow, this can come. That award that will
If
be the
I'm not
difference.
wrong, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is getting Padma Shri and not Bhushan or Vibhushan.
Padma
He's getting.
Shri is everyone will be getting this, right? Padma awards only. So you can check for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those, I'm Bangalore calls. Mr. Balakrishna Doshi is also getting the.
Yeah. What like? Yeah, I was about to come to BV Doshi part. So BV Doshi is recently passed away, and so Sanket, do you know that which other very popular or prestigious award he has already received?
Sorry, sir, I don't recall the other awards that he has received. Look upon that.
But
Not
he had
now,
received
it's
Nobel
like
Prize in, I don't recall in what domain,
No,
but he
that
had
is
received
not Nobel Prize. That the Prepzone Prize. So it is considered as the Nobel Prize for architecture.
Okay, sir.
And even not only for IIM Bangalore interviews, it will be useful for IIM Ahmedabad interviews, because the person who has designed IIM Ahmedabad building. So you know who has designed this? And
American architecture is something like Khan,
yeah,
Oliver.
Louis Khan area is there, right? If anyone been to that IIM Ahmedabad, so you can see that Louis Khan, what is that they call it, area or something, they name it,
Plaza.
right? Yeah, Louis Khan Plaza is there. So BV Doshi was working with him. Then BV Doshi then started working on IIM Bangalore building. So iconic IIM Bangalore building was designed by PV Doshi, and he is also worked with this person. Who designed this Chandigarh?
Lee Corbusier.
Yeah, so he worked with both. So he was helping in IIM Ahmedabad design. I think he also worked on that project. Then he moved to IIM Bangalore and he designed IIM Bangalore finally. So people getting IIM AB at least read about him. He's very popular, and yeah, if you want, you can use it somewhere. Otherwise, they can also ask on about BV Doshi. So who else want to volunteer?
I think we can ask direct names, else I don't think people are going to volunteer.
So KM Birla also going to award for Padma Bhushan.
Yeah. So I want to hear from Abhishek. Abhishek, where are you? Do you have 3 Abhishek today?
Yeah, we have one Abhishek today, Abhishek Agarwal.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
So Abhishek, do you have any interviews in coming 2-3 days?
Sir, not in 2-3 days. I have the one in SIBM Pune interview on 4th of February.
So Abhishek, have you heard or read the Republic Day address of our president?
Sir, not as of yet.
Okay. So anyone else? What was the theme of her address? What 2-3 points she has discussed?
I haven't read, but I have heard, like I've read in short, that it was basically on climate change, something.
I want to hear something more. Climate change he had included, but there was one theme that was completely revolving that came like.
I mean, the theme of this
Was it Jan Bhagidari something?
around inclusion of people.
Yes.
People, particular
What else?
people.
What else?
India's presidency of G20. She talked
Okay.
about that as well.
Okay. What else?
Sir, it was also about languages in the country.
Yeah. Then one thing everyone has missed is digital India, right? What she has to say about digital India.
So they actually want to bridge the gap between the urban and rural technology.
For
Like this
inclusion.
nation.
So someone talked about inclusion, right? So she's saying that for inclusion we need digital, like make it digital India possible. So that is the dream of PM Modi also. And she again like reiterated the same thing. If you want inclusivity in the society, you need to go beyond like normal methods of connection. We need digital India, right? Okay. So how many like what is the capital of Andaman and Nicobar?
Port Blair.
Port Blair.
What was the location where the first Tiranga was unfurled in the history?
Was it Kohima?
It's in Andaman and Nicobar. So I'm giving you the hint. That's why I started from that question.
It's Port Blair only, I guess.
Where in Port Blair? There is particular point for us, right? And why Andaman and Nicobar is coming back into the news? What has happened there in last 2-3 or this week?
21 islands.
The islands have been named
After 21
certain eminent personalities.
Paramveer
Chakra. Okay. So tell me the 5 names of these Paramveer Chakra awardees.
Sir, Major Somnath Sharma, Captain Vikram Batra, Major Shaitan Singh, and Major Piru Singh, and a Flying Commander Sekho, Navjeet Singh Sekho.
Okay. So anyone has received like these awards like while they were alive?
Yes, sir. Captain Subedar Yogendra Yadav.
And for which war you have received
For
that?
Kargil.
Okay.
Cool.
So and guys, please read about all this because this
Yes,
is like
awards.
being discussed a lot. So one particular order will be like how Padma awards are, like what is exactly is received there, and so there will be hierarchy of awards, and Bharat Ratna can also come to the picture. BV Doshi coming to the picture again. So if you have A or B call, it's because he has played in both. Like mainly we know of him about for IMB, but very few know about that he was also involved in IMA project. So this discussion can start. Now comes IIM Ahmedabad specific question again. Who is their new director?
Dr. Bharat Bhaskar.
Which area he belongs?
Sir, he's from IT and Communications. He was in IIM Lucknow, and he taught there about information technology and systems.
Okay. Who is IIM Bangalore director?
Sorry, I'm into it.
Guys with IIM Bangalore call.
Okay, a point is, guys, do have a look at the director and the dean of your respective B school calls. These are just some of the guiding directions for you to prepare for all the calls that you have. And at least the students who have a PI in January, do have a look at all the awards. across all the domains, like in literature, like in which particular domain has the concerned guy received the award, and which award, what's his past awards, like what are the past awards he has already received. Okay. Let's ask some basic question. Fair. Yash Patel, what's the second law of Newton's?
That every action will have a equivalent opposite reaction.
No, that's not the second law.
That's third.
The third law, I think.
Yeah, the
Shubham Dal,
Yes, that is force equal to mass into acceleration.
that is the equation.
Negative 100 for that. You will get negative for that. That is not the law. That is the implication of that law. Then we came with this equation.
Yes.
Exactly, sir. I don't recall that law, but I know this formula works for that.
Okay.
Their formula is there while we use that law and we came with this equation. This is not the law anywhere. This is just the application of the law.
Second law was with respect to the change in momentum per change in time. So momentum was defined in the second law of Newton.
Force is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. And what is momentum? Abhishek Shaw? This is a word that we even use in our day-to-day life. Momentum. Let me ask someone else. Anandita, what's a moment? What is momentum?
Sir, it's the product of mass and velocity.
I'm not asking the formula, please. When I ask you something, define this or what is this? I'm not interested in the formula. You can use the formula, but after defining the expression, like what does it mean?
Yes, so it is mass into velocity. At that means it's a force that is making something move at a higher speed or velocity,
No.
or faster.
No. Dhruv?
Is it that that any mass that is moving, it will continue to stay in that? No, that is inertia, I guess.
Dhruv, with such big question, expecting you to what is momentum?
I guess it's the same, like strength gained with the motion.
Anyone wants to take it?
And to crudely put it, I mean, if any object is moving, it will have a velocity attached with it. So momentum is, I mean,
Even if the
Power
power gets
I guess it is the rate of change of velocity. Like it is like
That
a
is
body
acceleration.
has a certain mass, and if it's moving with a certain velocity, at the initial stage, like at time t is equal to 0, it will not be moved. So the rate of change of velocity is the
That is actually acceleration.
That is acceleration.
That is acceleration.
Is it because
what Sanket mentioned is correct? What Sanket mentioned was correct, that it is essentially that state of motion. So the point here is it is force is equals to mass into velocity, but momentum is equals to mass into velocity, but that is the formula. So how do you define that in terms of basic sentences? What would make you differentiate?
Basically, a force gained by during the motion of the series of the forces that are acting.
In a way, yes.
So the property a body has due to its mass and velocity.
Again, you are just rephrasing the formula, right? So don't use mass and velocity when you're defining an expression, because that is not something. How do you define a particular word, right? So P is equals to M in MB, but don't use mass and velocity while defining momentum. That's what I'm saying, right? Fair. Let me ask this question to Mohit Meena. Mohit?
Yeah. Yeah, hi, sir.
Please integrate log x with respect to x.
Log x with respect to x. It would be x log x. Once again.
Yeah, x and in bracket log x minus 1 plus the constant.
Very good. Good.
X log x
The
minus 1.
assumption is the base is e with of log x base e.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then ln x, then
Correct.
that comes up.
Yeah. It anyways won't matter because even if the base is something else, that would be constant, right? So that would come outside it. So yeah. Let me ask this question to Rajat Sharma. Why do we use a constant? What is the significance of a constant in indefinite integration?
So basically, the differentiation of a constant is zero. Integration is what? It is actually the reverse of differentiation. So if we differentiate any function, let's say x plus 5, or let's say log x plus 5, it will be the 5 will the differentiation of that 5 will be 0. So it can be anything. It can be 5 or 6 or anything depending on the function or
I'm
the
asking,
graph.
what is the implication of constant? You're just proving it mathematically that if we differentiate the integration, it will turn out to be 0. I'm not asking that. I'm asking what is the practical implication of a constant? What does it mean? What does it imply?
It basically implies the value of the function at x equals to 0.
No, can you explain this? Value of function at x equals to 0. How did you come to this? Integration is essentially area under the curve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
let's
integration of
Can
e
I
to the
answer this
power x
question,
is
sir?
what? Yeah, just a minute. Let me discuss it with Rajat one. So Rajat, integration of e to the power x is e to the power x.
Yes, yes.
Now the value of the function e to the power x at x equals to 0 is 1.
Yeah.
So, but integration of e to the power x is e to the power x plus c. Now, how do you relate c with 1?
Can I answer this question, sir?
Who? Name? Adamya? Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, sir, the constant part indicates how much above the x-axis is does the graph lie. So basically, since the integration is nothing more than the graph under the curve, sorry, the the area under the curve, the constant part actually gives how much above the x-axis that graph lies. So that's what the constant basically in any kind of function, it is the dc value. If if the function is an AC signal, then definitely the constant would be the DC part of that signal.
In a way, correct. Yes, it could be better rephrased, but I've got the gist of what you were saying. Others, please have a look at it. Okay. Let me ask one simple question to someone who has not answered anything so far. Pavan Kumar. Vatti Pavan Kumar.
Sir.
What is inflation?
Sir, inflation is the sustained price increase for the certain basket of goods for a period of time.
Okay. What is the current inflation rate?
Sorry, sir, no idea. 7%.
Vasu Reddy? Current inflation rate?
Sir, it's around 6% per month.
Okay. Ujjwal B, what is hyperinflation?
Sir, hyperinflation is a special type of inflation in which inflation passes around 50% rate.
Okay, can you simplify this to a layman?
Okay, so when so we can take an example. So let's say a current a packet of chips cost around 20 rupees, right? if it increased by 50% of what it is, matlab it is 30 rupees, so matlab hyperinflation
Okay.
will be in the market.
Udit, what is deflation? Explain it with an example.
So deflation is just an opposite of inflation. It is when the monetary value of rupee or a currency decreases, when the purchasing power of the citizen decreases. For example, suppose I have 100 rupees as of now. I can purchase 1 kg of wheat with the same. After deflation, with that 100 rupees, I can only purchase 500 gram of wheat. That is deflation. The monetary value power of my currency is decreased.
Okay.
So in that hyperinflation question, we also have to take into account the time period, right? I mean, the lace price can always increase, but if it is increasing over 50 years, over 5 months, so I mean,
Yes, this per month, correct.
So if I can I add something to that, sir? If it's
Yeah, sure.
Definitely, sir. Someone who just answered, he said that it leads to the devaluation. Basically, devaluation of currency actually leads to inflation, not deflation, if I'm not wrong. So we will have to pay more in dollars in order to import a commodity, therefore which would invariably translate into domestic inflation. Basically basically the consumer price basically the retail inflation would go up, and the present retail inflation figure is 5.72% as per December 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, that CPI and the WPI is around 4.95%. It is at a
Yes,
21 month
wholesale price index inflation is at 4.95% as per December 2022.
Good, Athamya. You at least it's impressive to see that you have numbers, at least the basic numbers in hand. And whenever you are quoting any number, do mention the year that this is the number by this, because you may not know if something has changed in the last 1 week, 2 weeks. So whenever you're quoting any numbers in an interview, do mention by December or by whatever month that number is. That will at least not let the interviewer grill you. That has the number not changed in the last few weeks.
Okay, sir.
So one question. So as we discussed, hyperinflation is something that is beyond, like it is out of control and it is sustained for a longer period of time. But is there any percentage involved, like about 10%, 20% of a 50%? Then it will, but it's just only just two criteria, like out of control and plus longer duration. That's hyperinflation.
It's usually more than 50% per month.
Okay. Got it.
So you can use this number. And let me ask one more question. Okay. Udit, you're here?
Yes, sir.
Can interest rate be negative?
In what respect, sir?
Like interest rates as in 5%, 6% in terms of percentage, could it be negative for any country?
I'm not pretty sure about it, but I guess it can be negative.
Why? Like in what scenario would it be negative? Any countries you have in mind where interest rate is currently negative?
I'm not sure of any example, but it can be negative when the monetary value of the currency is pretty low. Then the interest rate can be negative.
Okay. Anyone wants to add to this? Maybe Tanveer? Tanveer?
Yeah, hi, sir.
Hey, Tanveer, hi.
So I believe it can be effectively negative if the inflation rate increases beyond.
Can I answer to that, sir?
So I'm
No,
saying
let us.
Okay. When the inflation rate is in beyond the interest rate of that is being offered,
Yeah.
so in that case, the interest rates are effectively negative.
Any examples? Without
No,
an
sir.
example, theoretical answers won't make much sense. Siddhant?
Sir, I remember sometime in Japan, I think few years back the interest rate was negative. I remember that.
Okay. Soparno?
Yeah, so I think even Switzerland has the same thing. Basically, when a government wants to, pump more money into the economy and wants to increase consumer spending, wants to encourage more investments, that is when they keep a negative interest rate.
Japan,
Soparno,
Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, all of these countries, Denmark would have a negative interest rate because it's essentially to boost their economy. If any, yeah,
European Central Bank too once had negative interest rate in order to spur up economic consumption and to uh, you know make people spend more. So they too had negative interest rate in the last decade, and Japan and a few Nordic and Scandinavian countries follow this practice. And more than that, devaluation of one's currency is something that China as well as Japan have been doing for quite some time. And
okay.
I mean, all this. Sorry. Yes.
Damir, in the interest of time, we'll just move on. But the point is, you have some idea. That's good. Shreya Jain, can you name 5 European countries?
Yes, sir. So, starting with UK, then Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, and Poland,
But
Germany.
UK is not a part of EU now.
So European countries, Raj, not
So, did you
European
specifically
Union.
ask European Union or only European countries?
Only European countries, not the
Okay,
European
that's fine.
Union. Okay. Shreya, another question to you. What was Brexit? Can you summarize it?
So, UK left the European Union in order to boost their in order to make some changes in their economy which were not part of the EU deal.
Shreya, I want to ask you what is UK then? That is like more pertinent question for you. How do you define UK?
So United Kingdom is a set of islands.
Islands or which all countries come together and make UK?
Sir, at the moment I'm not able to recollect.
Anyone, Srijan wants to try?
Sir, Ireland and England comes in UK. And
What
Great
about
Britain and
Scotland?
Northern Ireland.
Not Ireland, Northern Ireland.
Ireland, Scotland, Wales,
Yeah.
Wales,
Wales,
and
England,
Great
Northern
Britain.
Ireland, and Scotland.
Great Britain.
Wait,
one at a time. Yeah, Atharv.
Yes, so in UK, 4 countries connect together and form a union. Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Great
Not
Britain.
Great Britain. It would be England.
England.
Great Britain.
Yeah, England.
Great
Okay,
is the whole
England.
island.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now
Yeah.
again,
So Scotland, Wales,
again
and
follow up question. How
UK comes under Great Britain,
Great
right?
Britain?
Like,
Okay, what is Great Britain and England? What is the difference between these two?
okay, sir, I will answer it.
You
So
can
Great
answer.
Britain is Scotland, Wales, and England. Together they form Great Britain.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So where the like all the economic decisions will be taken in case of UK?
So all the major economic decisions will be taken uh, in the capital of UK, that is London.
Okay, where is their political capital?
Political capital is to London.
Okay. In the case of US, where you are going to see their judiciary is judiciary capital of USA.
Sir, I know political capital is Washington DC, but not sure about judicial capital.
So for US, I need a political capital, I need economic capital or financial capital and judicial capital. If anyone knows,
The
they can.
financial capital would be New York, because all of the major financial conglomerates have their headquarters based in the New York.
Okay.
And the capital is Washington, District of Columbia.
Okay. Which all like do we know any country which has like more than one capital?
South Yes, Africa.
South Africa,
South
which is
Africa, Bolivia,
Johannesburg, Pretoria, and
Bloemfontein.
London. Right.
And
Okay.
even Bolivia has two capitals, Sucre and La Paz.
Okay. So, where is Botswana?
It's in
Botswana is
Southern Africa.
north of South Africa. And east of
In which
Namibia.
continent
East
you
of
can, which continent you
in
can see Botswana?
southern part of Africa, above North Africa, above South Africa.
Above South Africa, east of Namibia.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let me ask one question to Shreyas Taklikar. Can you explain
Yes.
the practical application of trigonometry in day-to-day life?
In trigonometry, we can find distances with respect to the elevations of like if it's raining, we can no with not respect to the raining. If you want to measure the height of the tower or any specific building,
How would you do it?
if we can if we know the angle of elevation with respect to the ground and the elevation at which the sun is there, we can find the distances, also the height of the tower, and with respect to the shadow of the buildings, we can find.
Fair. It's an important question for an interview, by the way, the application of trigonometry. Similarly, I would have asked you a question, how do you, if you are standing in front of a building which is like very long, how do you measure height of that? So these things would come in handy to answer in an interview. It could be asked, by the way. May I ask a simple question to anyone who has not answered so far? Please raise your hand. Yeah, Shubham Dhal, who is your role model?
Yes, sir. According to me, because I love watching and playing cricket, so my role model is Virat Kohli right now. So,
Is this how you'd answer it in an interview? Like very cliche answer, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Virat Kohli, blah blah blah.
so just because I love his perseverance and the dedication that he has, and the technical skills that he possesses, and after having a lot of bad days, like having 1021 days after he scored 71st century, and he proved that he has that dedication and the ability to do things, never give up side also.
It's not Virat Kohli. Who else would it be?
Sir, that will be the thing that will be related to cricket only. So, and Sachin Tendulkar it will be.
Okay. And if you have to compare Sachin versus Virat Kohli?
So basically, the both are different from each other. Like in, I cannot structure it right now,
but in an interview, you won't get more than 5-10 seconds. And this is a common question even given in the personal question bank. Should have the answer ready. It
yes,
could
sir,
be
it's
anyone. Usually, I would have preferred if it is not a very common name, because common name will be like very common amongst all the other aspirants also. So this is again one opportunity for you to differentiate yourself. It could be anyone. If you are so fascinated, if you really have good knowledge on cricket, use any older player who not other students would be knowing it. Use a name that is not very common. That's what would make you stand out, that okay, this guy knows about that particular field in and out. So it could be someone, it could be a novelist, it could be any businessman for that matter. It could be, any prominent personality, any prominent politician you really, really admire. But then make sure you know in and out the entire history about that particular person and the other prominent person in the same domain or in the same industry.
Just a question, so here, like, is it necessary to have like a prominent personality as your role model only?
No, no, not necessary. But then don't just say my father, my mother, while they can be role model, but then not something that would make you differentiate. Because many students will say, my father is my role model, my mother, unless you have a very exceptional story that really proves your point. Like every father and mother will anyways be role model of like almost 80-90% of us. So unless it's a very different emotional story, then you can of course make your point, but otherwise the point is just try to have some line of differentiation.
All right, got it. Thanks.
What about a fictional character as a role model?
Anyone. The point is you can have anyone. I've given you some guidelines, like this could be it, even beyond it, it could be anyone, as long as you know in and out about that person, as long as it is not a very common thing. And as long as it has inspired millions of people.
So what about JRD Tata? Like
When Nirupam, now I can't cover one by one every person, right? I've given the structure. Think on these lines and please make your answers. You don't want all the people to mention the same name, so that's the max I could say. Okay. I think this question has been done already, but let me just check who has really done their homework. Kavya, what's a CPI and a WPI?
Yeah, CPI is the consumer price inflation, which largely measures the inflation of consumer goods like fuel, power, fuel, food, and housing. Whereas wholesale price inflation is WPI.
Sir, I think it's index and not inflation.
Yeah.
CPI.
Yeah,
Sorry.
correct. That's the first. And would you only, so in WPI, do you only know the full form, wholesale price index?
No, I'll talk about the components of WPI as well. So the WPI components include, Hanu.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the WPI components would include, again, fuel and power, the manufactured goods like textiles, food products, and sugar, for example. And it also includes the primary articles which are further processed.
And which would be a better indicator amongst these two? Kavya? Okay. Anyone else wants to attempt? This is something we've already done in the past.
Sir, as per RBI, it is the consumer price index. Like they use CPI to monitor the inflation. And this question was also asked in the ZAT paper this year only. So I still remember it.
See,
sorry, I think I dropped off the call. I was saying something. I could.
Sure.
Yeah. I think you were asking me something. I dropped off in the middle, so I couldn't hear.
I was asking which is a better indicator and why.
Better indicator. I feel CPI is a better indicator. And it also like talks about the core inflation, which is also, I think, measured using CPI, which takes into like account like the power, the food, and the housing primarily. And I think that's a better measure.
Okay. Yeah. So just a note, don't let the interviewer ask you, okay, what are its properties? When any interviewer is asking you any question about anything, have maybe 10 seconds, 5 seconds, then start with the structure. WPI, as the name suggests, it is this is the current rate, and this I believe would be a good indicator, because in an actual interview it could last for only 10-15 minutes, so you would not have time to come back in an interview and show knowledge of that particular question. So whenever any question is asked, make the best of that opportunity and try to answer it in your full capacity, or at least if you think that the answer is going very long, you could at least ask that, so do you also want me to cover this thing, so that at least the interviewer know that okay, you have covered it, and that would lay good foundation for you in an interview.
So for the question of CPI or WPI, we can also counter by the fact that even the GDP equation, the private expenditure takes up to 70% of the portion, so it makes much more sense to look at these things from a consumer perspective rather than a wholesale or from the industry perspective.
Right. So this is how you showcase your knowledge. Look, you have a lot of stats in your mind, but you may not be asked direct questions to showcase your stats. You'll have to use it somewhere in whatever questions are asked to prove your point. Ishan, can you just talk about all the 4 monetary policies like repo rate, reverse repo, SLR, CRR? What are they? What is the current number?
Uh, sure. The SLR stands for the statutory liquidity ratio. It is a ratio which the RBI mandates the banks to have this much of cash as reserve in the event of some economic shock, so that they are able to pay their depositors off. Repo rate is the rate which the RBI sets as the lending rate from which banks can lend from the central bank, and according to that, banks adjust their own interest rates to lend out to further businesses or consumers. uh, the reverse repo rate I'm not sure about, but it works like how um, the banks set a rate at which the RBI can take back the deposits from the bank, something along those lines. I'm not sure about the reverse repo rate.
Okay. And what does the current number look like?
The repo rate in India, I think it is 4.75%.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure about that.
I think this is communicated, I don't know how many times, but this is a very important thing. Have these facts and figures handy. Revise it every day in the morning so that you don't miss it out on an interview. It's the same people, Athar and Sanket. I'm sure they would know it. Anyone else? Ritik Gupta? Or maybe, Abhay Singh, please answer this.
So basically, reverse repo rate
Yeah,
is
repo
when
rate,
RBI.
Okay. Yeah, Abhay,
yeah,
go on.
go ahead.
So reverse repo rate is when RBI kinds of borrows money from the banks, and the reason it could do is it's to control the money supply. If, let's say, money supply is in excess and there is a condition of, let's say, devaluation, so that's when RBI can pull in back some money from the banks, and the rate at which banks would lend money to RBI, that was reverse repo rate, I believe.
And current numbers, Abhay?
Current numbers, I'm not very sure of about that. I need to check that.
Okay. Anyone can just talk about the current numbers
So
for the
the
sake
repo
of.
rate is 6.25, reverse repo rate is 3.35%. I mean, the reverse repo rate also helps in, adjusting the liquidity, right? Because if you have a high reverse repo rate, it would be beneficial for banks to lend it back to RBI rather than lending to, not so much credit-worthy customers.
Sanket, what is the difference between repo and a bank rate?
So in the repo rate, there is a collateral involved over there. Banks have to give collateral in the form of government securities. In the bank rate, there is no collateral involved. So, as it is an unsecured loan, so the rate is also higher. Bank rate is around 6.5% right now. It is 6.5%, and the repo rate is 6.25%.
Cool. Very good. Then let me ask. Okay, just because we are discussing this, also read about the gold prices, silver prices, Sensex, Nifty, these 3, 4, 5 things. In the interest of time, I'm not covering it, but just giving you as a heads up. Like how is the price fluctuating? What's the relationship between Sensex and the gold prices? If the stock market goes up, the gold prices will increase or decrease, and by any trend that you can think of. I'll just ask maybe a few more questions and then we can wrap up because you have another important session at 4 p.m. by Shine, so don't miss that for sure. So, anyone who has not answered any question so far, this is the opportunity to, be in a comfort zone with the interview. Anyone? Everyone has answered? Yeah, Krish Modi, tell me the distance between east and the west poles of India.
Yes, I'm not currently aware of that data.
Divya?
It's 3,000 something. I am not sure about the actual figure. 3,000 something kilometers.
Good. I think it is 2933. 2933 kilometers to be precise, but yeah, a good take. 3,000 in an interview would do. Let me ask another question. Anyone who has not answered so far? Ishita? Raise your hand if you have not answered. Yeah. Fair. Distance between north and the south poles of India.
I think it's
Sorry, yeah, I think it's around something around 7,000 lines, 6,000 something. I'm not sure. I read it somewhere.
This is almost 2x what the actual number is.
Yeah.
Ritesh?
It is around 3,500 or 4,000, I think.
Just because I said it is 2x, you're just doing the math.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It is around 3,100 to 3,200, I guess.
Divya, good, yeah. Divya knows all.
Means I remembered the number also, but I am not able to recall it. It's
It is
32.
about 30 to 14. So
Yeah.
I'm not very sure. Just cross check it once. 30 to 14 kilometers, and do also have a look like which is the easternmost part of India, westernmost part of India, northmost part of India, and the southern part of India. Okay. Ishan, what's the diameter of Earth?
The diameter of Earth.
We all have studied it in class 8th or 9th social studies or science book.
11th standard physics, gravitation.
Yeah, so at least we have read it somewhere in school.
Yeah, I don't want to take a wrong guess.
Okay. Kamal?
Sir, around 12,000 kilometers.
Good. Anyone wants to take it?
12,800, I think. The radius we had read about 6,400 kilometers.
6,400, correct. Students often make a mistake to mention 6,400 as the diameter. Diameter is 12,800. 6,400 around is the radius of the Earth. Okay.
Mass of Earth, I think, is 6 into 10 raised to the 24. The magnitude is 10 raised to the 24. That I know. Was we used to do calculations in.
It was there in class 11 physics. I also don't remember it right now, but yeah, at least there's something I could remember.
Yes, it was something like 6.625 into 10^24.
No, that is the Planck's constant.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, at least that much I could recall. First, काफी रट्टा मारा है सबने. I know. So yeah, distance between Earth and Sun. Anyone can take it.
Is it 3.2 million square kilometers?
No.
150 million kilometers.
Good. Around 147 million kilometers. Now, how could this be used as time taken by sun rays to reach India? You know the speed of light, you know the distance.
8 minutes, 20 seconds.
Correct. You just do the maths and come up with a number. But to be able to reach this answer, this distance can help. Right? Aditya Mehrotra, how is the value of Nifty calculated?
So the top 50 exchange of BSE, the top 50 stocks are used for the calculation.
No. Top 50 companies ka le liya. Then what do we do? Do we take the simple linear average or something else?
No, we do something else.
And what is that something else?
Weighted
Correct. It has to be weighted average as per the market cap, because every company ka market cap would differ, right? So you'll do a weighted average as per the market cap. Let me ask the top 5 companies by market cap. The top 5 Indian companies by market cap to Ashutosh.
Yeah, so the top 5 companies by market cap will be, I'm not going in the first, second, third, and fourth, fifth. I will be just saying names because I'm not very much sure which is at the top. So Reliance, and then there will be Tata, and
Tata as in which company?
I think TCS.
TCS, yeah, TCS. TCS. And then the third will be this
HDFC Housing.
HUL also.
No. HUL is not.
Okay, then I know these two only. Then, sir.
There are 2 banks, HDFC Bank and
HDFC Bank and
ICICI.
Yes.
And ICICI Bank. As far as I know, please go and check. And there are 2 IT companies, TCS.
Infosys is also there.
Yeah. TCS and Infosys. So that's how you can remember it. 2 IT companies, 2 banks, and then
Reliance.
course. Okay, fair. So have
Sir,
and
just
and
one
also
question.
have a look at their share prices, at least if your background is anyway related to finance or commerce.
So just one question. So
Yeah.
like if the panelists ask the order of anything, like you asked about the top 5 companies. So we are not aware of the exact increasing or the decreasing order. So
That's
will it be okay if we just mention the top, like these are
Yeah.
there but not in the
Should be
exact?
fine to at least take an educated guess, like कि top पे कौन सी रहेगी. थोड़ा बहुत idea तो पता रहेगा कि top
Got
पे
it.
Reliance
Understood.
would be there, right? And now that you know it, remember the sequence, and this is how you can remember कि IT companies कौन से number पे आती है, bank कौन से number पे आता है. So that could help. But yeah, if you don't know, just say that I don't know the relative ordering, but the top 5 companies should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And also have some idea of the market cap. Not the exact, but at least the units. In what unit is it? Okay, let me ask.
So the fifth one, the Google is showing HUL, like HUL and
HUL.
ICICI are quite close.
Okay, cool. Last I checked, it was ICICI Bank. It could be HUL. My bad, Ashutosh. Okay.
No, I was just guessing by the market value, so I was not very sure that Jewel was there.
Okay.
I knew SDFC was there, but ICICI I didn't.
Okay. Amol, how is BSC calculated? And which one is a better measure, BSC or NSE?
Better measure, I would feel NSE because since the liquidity of the stocks is more and it would be more accurate as compared to BSE. And both are calculated. I'm not sure regarding the calculation actually. A weighted average mean, but again, what's the difference? I'm not sure of.
How many companies are taken while calculating Sensex?
30.
Nifty में it is 50, Sensex में कितनी? 30. ठीक है. Just
Yeah,
also
30.
have a look at the companies. Which companies are those?
So market cap is also free floating. I mean, there may be companies which are mostly promoter owned, so they do not feature that high also.
Fair. Yes. And one important thing is Nifty कब आया? When was Nifty came into the picture, and similarly Sensex as well. The year in which these terms were coined. Okay. Then in fact, what is the base year used in calculation of Nifty? Anyone?
What is the base year? It will be in late 1990s.
1995.
Good. 95.
No, 95 पे तो establish भी नहीं हुआ था ना.
Oh, it is 1995.
But 95 is used.
These values 1050 securities and 95 is the year. Then okay, one interesting question. Let me ask Ishita. Who amongst chicken and egg came first? Answer it in a manner that you would answer it in an actual interview.
If we go by evolution, and so single cell organisms, everything evolved. So thinking that egg should be the smallest thing, that the egg should have came first, then the chicken. So something has started somewhere. Everything has started as a small organism only. So I think the egg came first and then the chicken.
Okay. Yeah, like there is no right or wrong answer here. It's just how well are you able to justify your point. Tarun, what do you mean by
I guess there was a
food loss
scientific
industry?
reason as well.
Yes, sir, there is a scientific reason.
That
Scientists have found that the protein that is found
the
in the egg
protein that is found in
is
egg
actually found in the skin of the chicken.
Found in eggs, yeah.
Great. I didn't know about it. Thanks. Cool. Tarun, what do you mean by food loss industry? Can you name a few food loss industry?
I didn't get Footloss.
Yeah.
No, sir, no idea.
Anyone has heard about these terms earlier? No?
I
Can you
think
Google it right now and check it and
So can
uh,
you please
there are,
spell
I
it?
think it's
Foot?
related to no responsibility kind of thing. I read it somewhere. I'm not very sure about the industries, what all it comprises, but I think they're free to do anything they want kind of thing.
name itself suggested like food laws.
Sir, I think
Food
it's
laws.
to do with the location. Like location can shift at any time. Like a cobbler.
Agreed. Like even if you don't know it, this should be the most educated guess, and this is what it is. Like it is an industry which is not tied up for any particular location or country. It can be relocated to anywhere without any factors. Like it doesn't really consider production or resources or land or labor. So that's what it is. And
IT can be part of this.
precisely, one of the example could be computer chips or IT industries. Good.
So even crypto exchanges can be named like FTX because like it shifted to Bahamas and then they were earlier operating in US. So
Yeah,
they
and
don't have to manufacture anything. So that's why they can just decide overnight where they want to go and locate themselves.
so non-manufacturing and something that doesn't really require a store or a physical presence. It could be operated from anywhere.
Can
That's
it be bound by laws though? Like the laws of the country?
by definition, yes, because as far as I know, it is land, labor, and any resources is what it is independent of.
So like recently PhonePe shifted its headquarters to India, so will it come under Footloose industry?
PhonePe is a company, right? We are talking about
Yes.
industry here.
Okay.
Chandrik. So yeah. Okay. Anyone has heard the term Mangalyaan? Mangalyaan.
Was India's mission to Mars.
Let me. So it is also depicted on a 2000 rupee note. Okay, I'm putting the question here. The Mangalyaan sign that is depicted on a 2000 rupee note, what does it signify?
It was the first Indian Mars mission which got accomplished successfully, and India was the first company to land successfully on Mars.
Good. Who answered this? Divya?
Divya this side.
Okay, Divya. A following question, because it's also Republic Day. How many number of spokes are there on Ashoka Chakra?
24 it is.
24. 24. Good. Who's the RBI governor? Everyone would know it.
Shaktikan Das.
But do you also know the role of the RBI governor?
Yeah, to manage
Head of
the
Monetary Policy
monetary-
Committee.
Yeah.
The head of the embassy. Yeah.
Okay. So people do know about the names, but they don't know what does this person do. So just something for you to know. Okay. Who was the first Indian to win a Nobel Prize, and in which domain? Let me ask this question to Adarsh.
Don't remember, sir.
Hint is there was an Instagram post about this in last 7 days.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore, right? In which domain?
Arts and literature.
Literature. Good. Okay, let me ask one question to.
The Nobel Prize was stolen, I guess. I mean, it was some.
Sorry?
His Nobel Prize, I mean, I guess it was stolen or something like that had happened.
Not sure of the history behind it, but I know कि उसको literature में तो मिला था.
हाँ.
Garima, which is India's highest cinema award. सबको पता होगा.
Yes.
Yeah.
Garima? Any guesses?
Dada Saheb Phalke.
Dada Saheb Phalke.
Dada Saheb Phalke. What is Balco? BALCO? Anyone?
It deals with the production of aluminium, but I don't remember
Correct.
the separate name. Bharat Aluminium, I guess.
Bharat Aluminium Company.
Company Limited.
Is it a subsidiary of Vedanta only? Balco? No.
Company.
Government did.
Who is a PSU, I guess, no? Nalco and Balco.
Vedanta Resources, correct. Just
Government had, I mean, under when DC investment was taking, I mean, a good pace under the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, that sold it to Vedanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in the 51% shares, correct. Has been disinvested to Vedanta, correct. 2001. Okay. I think, guys, that's pretty much. Take some rest. You have another session at 4 p.m. and we'll try to have rapid fires live, because at least this gives you a real interview-like experience. Okay, and whatever questions are, if you're not able to answer it, just go back, Google. These are like simple questions you'll find on internet as well. Okay, and try to attend the sessions live, because recordings or going through the discussion doesn't really add a lot of value. Cool. Any questions you have? Want to discuss something?
Any specific question for medical background?
Medical background.
Like I am from pharmaceutical, so any specific question other than companies related to pharma?
Any major innovations or patent that has been launched in the pharma sector? That's something you may want to have a look at. What is ICD-10? These codes you should be well aware of.
Pharma industries, I mean, big pharma companies also indulge in evergreening, right? I mean, they basically increase the duration of the patent. So maybe that's not a much ethical thing to do, because you are doing just some small modifications and trying to, again, not lose your market share. So maybe something can come up on that.
Sir, one question I have for the pharma sector, that Dolo 650 was in news. I mean, the manufacturers had used dubious means to sell this medicine. So one should be aware of it, I guess.
The latest controversy around those
Like doctors and everything, they were given incentives to, sell this product.
Yeah, it was again the Drug and Cosmetic Act.
Yeah, so I mean.
So in short, anything that is there in the news in last 3 months, then related to patents, what's your point of view in that? Is it the right thing? Is it the right ethical thing to do? Any major companies, any innovations? I think that's pretty much from my side. You can also discuss it with Prashant. He would have some idea about the medical industry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
People have also died in Gambia and Uzbekistan, right? I mean, those drugs are not allowed to be sold in India. So maybe.
Yes.
Correct. Cool. Okay, guys, that's it. Okay. Chalo, thanks. And do attend the 4 p.m. session. It will be an important one. Okay. See you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.